Good morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scouser's morning coffee or tea with American Scouser, brought to you by our friends at Reckless Coffee Roasters. Make sure to go check them out. Get a cup of Joe like we do. And today is Wednesdays. It's match day, and I'm back to being the world's greatest dad. World's second greatest dad. Gordo is with us. What's happening?
Hey, what's going on? It's sometimes this early in the morning. It's the first time I've seen myself, and I definitely need this cup of coffee. I can tell just looking at my image right here on the screen. It's rough.
It's so funny you say that because, this morning when I was setting it up to send you the invite, I looked and I was like, holy shit, I got to shave. So, yes, using this show like a mirror, if you will. Brian, good morning, Sergi, Ryan. Ryan says we're beautiful, so that's all that matters, I guess. But speaking of beautiful, with his business-like look today, except when it was zipped up earlier, but now that he's on the show,
it wasn't
unzipped and letting it all go. John is with us. John, what's happening?
Yeah, all good. Ready for is this a mellow midweek? It's a match day, so it's not mellow. It's not a mellow midweek show. So
I guess
I'm still in denial, so I'm not really feeling the vibes right now of a match day, but I guess I'm as good as I can be, right?
Yeah, man, you're taking this really hard. It's been a week, bro.
That's why I look like this. I've just been crying.
Right. You're telling me this, but Gordo's been crying. We're my laptop hasn't been working well, so apparently it hasn't been taking it well either. So. Which is why the weird
the laptop crashed when he saw that news.
Yeah.
Archie, enjoying retirement over there, is off to play golf. Just play it on the phone or something like that as your golf. Probably
golden
off your game, but Sergi, by the way, earlier was claiming, and I'm not buying this, but we're gonna have to dig into it next time we get him on a pre-match or a post-match, that he has not cried since 8. I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
not buying it. Not buying it.
No, nobody bought it. Okay.
You can stub your toe the wrong way, and that's gonna bring 3 tears coming. So that counts, I would say, right? Bro, how many times do we get into a situation where we just get hit the wrong way, whether it's just walking through daily life or playing sports, and not a single tear was shed? Come on, Sergi. I don't believe it.
I that I've been crying since I was 8 years old. Every day. I turned 8 and started
crying every time.
All right.
Christmas movie.
How about this? When was the last time you guys ugly cried? Cried bawled your eyes out? I'd start first. It was when we won the FA Cup final a few years ago.
Wait, we're talking ugly cry.
Yeah, because I was just so I was so invested in it, and the whole quad thing. I was like, oh my god, we're actually gonna do it. We're gonna make history, and then it just broke down after Ali saved that. After Simicast scored that pen, and I was legit in tears, and my face, I didn't even want to see it. But then my sister was like, "Oh my god, are you okay?"
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So
okay, see, I got teary eyed. See, we're not going ugly cry yet. I got teary eyed after the 4-0 game, when they were in front of the cup. I got teary eyed, not ugly cry.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's probably the 4-0.
He's talking ugly cry though.
Are you talking for anything or just for the sport? Because
for anything.
Oh, then yesterday, they were out of the chocolate croissants at Starbucks. And I had a real meltdown.
Okay. Yo, I completely understand. I felt the same way when the place where I get my cookies and cream milkshake started using different ice cream, and now it doesn't taste as good. So I'm just what's going on here? I wanted
What's wrong with you guys?
Food is a valuable commodity, Tim. Maybe you're not.
Jesus Christ. Ryan says last time I ugly cried as an adult was when Walter Payton died. What is that? 10 years?
No, that.
Or is it more recent? No, it's about 10 years, right? To Google we
go.
We need a producer that's
right.
Kind of.
Right.
Holy cow! I didn't realize it had been that long. God damn, I'm old. I don't know why. Maybe I'm confusing it with somebody else. He doesn't even remember when he last cried. He said 98, but it was actually 99. Unless Google is wrong. November 1, 1999 is the date. No Tears. I have still not seen the Bobby documentary actually. So maybe
No, I haven't seen it either.
Nope.
I've started on the book, but like the
I
doc.
have to think of like Ugly Cry because yes, I don't ugly cry because the food needs salt or some shit like you guys. Let's see.
Wait. We have to expound on this, Tim. So you've never been attached to a piece of food as much as
Not
Gordo.
to the point where I
has-
freaking ugly cried.
Well, okay, that's fair. You got
I
me.
mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, you can't see the guts behind the underneath the camera, but I mean, yeah, there's a lot of emotion attached to the food.
See, I'm the opposite. I form very strong attachments very quickly to almost everything.
I thought you were going to say like when you were killing one of the ducks or the geese or whatever.
Okay, so here, the first time I ever did it, it was an asshole duck, and that's why I decided that was going to be, you know.
What is an asshole duck? Like talking behind your back and shit? Or what?
No, he was beating up all the
Quacking behind your
females.
back?
Right.
Well, he was beating up all the females, so I was losing eggs, which pissed me off.
Domestic
Yeah.
violence duck? Okay.
Yeah, it
Domestic
was a
violence.
duck. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to pop my cherry with this asshole, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. And then
So what happened to the next guy?
I was like, I've done this already. I'm fine.
Never ugly cried as an adult. Really? Like funeral and stuff like that? I thought, we all
Yeah,
have,
funeral.
like,
Yeah.
what's called Max. Oh man, that's wrong. That's kind of like an inside joke, but if you're in the Chicago official,
I'm gonna have to turn my camera off. I'm about to ugly cry.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, if you're in the Chicago, oh man, Mitsuish with the perfect line this morning. Wow. Yeah, if you're in there, we have quite the hater in the Chicago group. Which is, even though I'm in Chicago, you would think I'd be very active in the Chicago group. But
Yeah, he might be the reason why I'm not.
And honestly, he's not the reason for only us. I've heard it from quite a few people. Same thing, because I was newer to it. And I was in shock when I was seeing some things when I first joined the group on Facebook. And then it was confirmed by quite a few people. I'm not going to throw them under the bus over here because I think they do watch the game, AJ Hudson and stuff. But it was it was confirmed by quite a few people. So when you're a jerk, you're a jerk. Okay, so let's get...
Took us 7 minutes to get to the actual Liverpool stuff.
Oh, God.
Therapeutic.
That has to be the
Therapy.
line of the month or something like that.
Yeah.
You're a Batman fan, don't you think? Mateusz looks like Cersei is really interested in this. Okay, yes, we do have somebody who's into still Batman.
Dude, I'm really into like comic. I have a solid, pretty respectable comic/graphic novel collection right here. So like, it's aside from Liverpool, it's pretty much my interest. So yeah, and yes, Cersei, there is like a bit of resemblance to that Commissioner Gordon iteration.
So
with
in your
Mateusz.
face, Mateusz. So
There is
I can't
resemblance.
wait till
Yeah.
Monday now. I can't
Yeah.
wait till Monday.
Especially the
I'm gonna
hair.
put
Especially the hair. Although that Commissioner Gordon can be a bit bullish. Like Mateusz is a nice guy, so maybe just like physically. Well, Tim disagreeing here, like
that's his on-screen persona. Yeah, so okay.
The
next
cameras go off,
Monday-
and he's like, "Fuck you, Tamushin. That was a terrible show."
yeah. What the hell was that, Timothy? Like,
I'm gonna have him on the background next week. I can't wait till Monday now. I'm gonna have like posters, pictures of that dude all over the place. Okay, cameras will follow Jurgen Klopp and his team throughout his final season at the club. The documentary will solely capture the team in areas agreed by the managers and players without encroaching on private spaces. So we're not going to see Thiago take a dump. But aside from that, we're gonna have some access. Yeah, sorry.
we're probably
Cue the ugly cry by Gordo.
I feel like we're probably gonna see Thiago lying down on one of them, the treatment room, and being stretched. Though.
Oh yeah,
I feel like
that might be
Gary.
part of the intro. Like every
yeah. And he's like,
as he's being stretched.
yeah, like This is
So
the content we live for.
of course, the conspiracy theorists who didn't even watch the interview. I was talking about this last week when the club news first came out. They were like, you know what? I bet it was because of that documentary. Because documentary news came out 2 days later. This came out. It can't be a coincidence and stuff like that. Gordo, do you think actually it's related in another way? Since the ownership knew about this in Thursday, they were like, hey, how about we do this as a send off to you?
So I
Or are
know
they
that
not related at all?
I know that Jurgen doesn't like it at all because the All or Nothing on Man City was originally scheduled for Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp was like, "Absolutely not! I don't want cameras in here. That disrupts everything." And so they went to Man City, and that's, I mean, it's a great documentary, but I mean, they were the second choice for that one. So I know there's some truth to Klopp not liking that kind of stuff. I want to know how did people find out about this before? Because I didn't know there was a documentary until someone had pointed it out, and then I realized, oh, they are making a documentary. And apparently today it came out that like Jurgen Klopp signed off on it in December, and he obviously said he made this decision in like October, November. So how did people find out about the documentary?
I know last week there was some news before even Klopp announced, maybe like 3 or 4 days before Klopp announced it. There was like we covered the headline that was something regarding talking to, they're in talks, I think was the headline at the time. So and that was like I say, like a week before. That's why when people woke up and saw Klopp leaving, they're like, that's why he hates cameras, which he has said before that he would leave if the cameras came in, like if the clubs overruled him, he would just leave. He would not want those cameras in there. And I think even now, when you look at this, it almost says it's not going to be a whole lot different than the LFC TV going around. You're not going to see him, I'm assuming, sit in a room and talk to Robertson or something like that. It's not going to capture those moments that, like the All or Nothing thing does, like the locker room one-on-one meetings and stuff like that. I feel like this is going to be, more around like camera walking around. Thiago is stretching on the physio room. You go to the other side, guys are eating lunch. They're playing a game or something like that. I don't think it's going to be the one-on-one behind the scenes thing. What do you think, John?
Whatever it is, I'm not a fan of it. That's for sure. Like I get the whole sentimentality thing, but again, we're still fighting on multiple fronts. We're still in pretty much every competition and are favored for some. And I just want to play it safe at this point that we don't need these distractions. Like, sure, everyone just says, "Oh, it's a camera. You don't have to mind it. You don't have to give it any attention." But there's always going to be that voice at the back of your head that's like, "Oh, I'm being filmed. I have to do something, right? I have to do something unique. I have to do it for the cameras." Kind of like with a goalkeeper, right? Like they always. Sometimes it's a very easy save to make. You just palm it upwards or you palm it sideways. But then you have goalies like, let's say, a De Gea, who flips forward first before making the save because he knows it's going to be seen by the cameras. I feel like that plays a little bit of a part into this whole thing, which is why I'm really not a fan of it. I think Klopp came into this whole thing and eventually allowed it because he knows, I'm leaving anyway. Like, whatever happens. Like, we'll deal with it. But at the same time, I'm just like, you can't leave things like these to chance. Like with us fighting on multiple fronts, us being favored for multiple competitions. So how it's gonna be, maybe like the documentary style, I guess, kind of like fly in the wall kind of deal. But again, not a fan of it. Hope it doesn't push through.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I know what you mean in terms of the distraction. I don't know. I mean, I guess it really depends on what it is, right? I mean, they're making a documentary. It doesn't say like, it could be like a movie documentary, kind of like the one they had after they won the title and stuff like that, as opposed to like
that would be more ideal after
constantly behind the scenes,
right?
Like like Klopp walking around with like a GoPro or something like that. I mean, I envision more about something similar to that, not like a. Because it's a documentary. I don't think it's a series or anything like that, right? Am I reading this wrong? Yeah, it's just a documentary, so it's not like, the All or Nothing is like basically like a series, like it's a week by week, constantly like there. I mean, I don't know, like aren't these guys used to having cameras all over the place all the time? LFC TVs, watching him make a sandwich and then eating the sandwich and then the other guy throwing away the sandwich.
I
That's a
think
fair
there's like
point. Yeah.
I think there's a difference though because they know it's LFC TV, so they're gonna
Mhm.
keep the private stuff in house because it's for the best interest of everybody there.
Mm.
Whereas like a documentary, it's very much like, I mean, you talk to or you listen to interviews with documentary like producers, and they're always like, yeah, we like needed to find something or an angle, and so they're
Yeah.
searching for the dirt. They're always going to be because that's interesting. People want to see that.
Yeah, that's fair. But don't you think when they do these, like the club has say in terms of, yeah, that's not gonna make like we're gonna cut that one out kind of thing.
What are you going to do? You're going to leave?
Oh.
He's already leaving. Yeah.
And action. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, like in the final edit and stuff, you don't think there's somebody that's involved with the club approving or disapproving?
There probably is. Yeah, there probably is. But then I really wish that they'd be catching more of the comedic side of things, like maybe Darwin writing on the wrong side of the whiteboard again or something like that.
Or just follow Darwin around. Like,
yeah. Like I feel like whenever Darwin does, I feel like he's just unintentionally funny. Like I don't know, like when you see him and you just greet someone and you just kind of chuckle because like I don't know, like
and
he's
add the language barrier and it adds that just a little bit extra spice. Yeah.
I mean, that's why I feel like, I mean, I realize it is ultimately I mean, could they have a bigger distraction than club leaving though? Can it be a bigger distraction than club leaving?
Probably not, Tim, but then you're adding to it, which is why I'm just, again, pragmatism, a trait that I picked since I joined American Scouser. The pragmatic side of me.
Friend.
Yeah. I'm not as gung ho anymore. I'm not as a daredevil anymore. But yeah, I digress. You don't want to leave it to chance, right? It might not be as much of a distraction as club leaving, but it's still a distraction. So, with these kinds of situations where you're in forefronts, favored for multiple competitions, these go down to the finest margins. And we know all about finest margins as Liverpool fans. Very, very fine margins. So, it's just the cynical side of me just being like, we don't need this. We don't need it at all. That's why I'm just really, really negative on it.
And I think as a player too, I'd be upset. Like I want this last 4 or 5 months with Klopp to myself and my team.
Exactly.
Instead of sharing it with the world. And maybe that'd be selfish of me, but I feel like this is a super emotional time for a lot of these guys who view Klopp, as many of us do, as a father figure. I've only met him the one time, and I didn't, he literally just signed a jersey, and I was like, and that's the only interaction.
I love you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, did you?
It felt like I'm watching my dad pack his suitcase up and going, I'm just going for cigarettes, and like. I feel like these guys feel the same way. And a lot of them have just come in, right? They've only been here for 2 years or so. And a lot of them have their contracts expiring. So this is like a super emotional time for like someone that they came here. A lot of those players came here because of Klopp.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
We have the badge means a lot. The city means a lot. The history means a lot. But most of these guys signed up because Jurgen Klopp sat down with them and told them, this is my plan. And now he's leaving, and so I feel like the cameras kind of take a little bit of that. It's not as personal anymore.
I see that. I just feel like it's not as big of a deal to these guys. I think they're a lot more used to it than we expect because they're being chased around by cameras for their national team, for this, for that, their sponsors and stuff like that. I feel like the camera itself is not as much distraction, and I'm thinking Klopp is still Klopp, if by stating that it's not going to be without encroaching on private spaces, I think those private spaces are a lot of places for Klopp. Like he's going to be like, that's private, that's private, that's private. And, so
the camera's just outside.
Yeah, outside the training ground.
The parking lot.
That's it.
So I feel like it's going to be a lot more general. It's not going to be, in some ways, it's not going to be as behind the scenes as maybe we would like it to be, is my guess. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I mean, he okayed it, obviously, and he must know, maybe he's using all this as like a motivator on the way out at the same time. So I feel like which is brings me to my thing. So obviously, with this news coming out now, the rumorville that I normally it ends basically tomorrow, and I kind of wait for that day. We've had like a very quiet, thanks to FFP, we have a very quiet January
Yeah.
for everybody, really, not just us. For a lot of
Right.
clubs, it's been very quiet. Everybody's afraid to spend the money watching Everton and Nottingham Forest. But so now, unfortunately, end of January is not going to mean end of rumors. We're going to have it all season long. But Gordo, I'm sure they knew that this was going to be. It's almost like they wanted to control the rumors because obviously the club knew, so they had to do their work. We'll talk about like the Michael Edwards thing. So they're already starting to do their work, supposedly, allegedly, like trying to find replacements, sporting director, and stuff like that. If this news doesn't come out, and it comes out that Liverpool is doing that in the background, it's the optics of it is a lot worse. So even though this is a big distraction, it's almost like we got ahead of the rumors.
Yeah, it's always the best place to be, right? Is because you control the narrative. Because, like, just in a business standpoint, all of us have worked for companies that probably kept a lot of stuff away from the people that are actually doing most of the work, and especially like you've worked in John. I don't know what you do, but I know that like Timuchin.
God knows what John does. You don't want to know.
I jinx shit. That's
But
what
official jinxer, yeah.
Like Timuchin's worked for Menards, I've worked for Lowe's. So like sometimes like people talk, right? And the rumors are always worse than whatever's actually happening. Like, yes, maybe what's actually happening is embarrassing, or maybe it doesn't put the company in the best light. But I guarantee you that when people start, talking, or in this case, people on Twitter, fans on Twitter start talking, it's always worse than it actually is. And so I think that, coming out and being like, this is what's happening. Yeah, it's not pretty. Yes, I know this is weird that it's like middle of January and Klopp announces he's leaving, but we didn't want this to get out because stuff does get out, I mean,
that's a good point, actually. And one thing I hated about that was there are times as a manager where you cannot announce like what actually happens, right? I mean, they have the luxury to be able to, sometimes it'll be like a personal matter. Let's say, like John works for me. He had something happen in his family that's affecting it, and that's why he's not there or something like that. And the rumors will float all over. I mean, you're talking like 200 people that you're managing. So there's like, how the hell the guy in the back knew the story that's like totally ass backwards.
Yep.
And because it's a private matter, you can't even announce it and say, hey, this is what happened. Shut the hell up and get back to work. Right. So it's that those are the moments that would kill me. But you're right. If you were able to, you would basically do I'm going to make a brief statement and not take any questions, kind of a press conference, hold a meeting with the managers. So that's the word that spreads. So I agree that it's probably a lot better because, otherwise we were going to be like, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? And stuff like that. Yeah. So football flashback is here. We were actually just talking about the last dance kind of a thing. Don Smith says, if any of the players want to leave because Klopp is, then good riddance. Beside all the emotion, no one is bigger than the club. They're still going to be at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and as professionals, their goal should be to carry on and prove themselves, regardless of who's the manager. And I do agree to that, and I think yes, it's. I mean, what do you think, John? I know, like Gordo says, Klopp was one of the reasons why they came over here. Let's face it, they might love Klopp, but if we're not in the Champions League, or if the team is not doing good, they're not going to be. If there's no chance of winning trophies, doesn't matter if Klopp is making them breakfast, they probably would still not come. So there's a lot of other things, but Klopp was a reason to it. How much of it does it affect? Obviously, I saw Van Dijk come right back out and say, okay, stop twisting shit, because I really don't think anybody in the squad right now says, oh, if he's gone, then I better get going too.
Yeah, and you just have to take into account the suddenness of this whole thing. Like, I totally get what Verge said, because he probably wasn't expecting it to be done in this manner too. Like, obviously he came in massive. He just stated massive part of why he came in was because Klopp was there. Like, it's completely understandable. You want to play for ex-coach, you admire his style of play. And at the end of the day, these guys are human beings. They're prone to emotions, moments of weakness, so it's completely understandable. Honestly, the whole whether players would want to play post-Klopp thing, that whole reality, it's something I haven't really thought of because, first of all, I'm still in denial. Secondly, my whole perspective on this season is just kind of let's just ride the wave, boys. Like whatever happens towards the end happens. If play, I agree with what Dom said though. At the end of the day, you guys are professionals. You're contracted to Liverpool FC, so we're expecting you to give 1,000% to Liverpool FC, regardless of whether Roy Hodgson is in charge, Jurgen Klopp is in charge, or Rafa is in charge. So, I think these players they're still gonna give it their all. They're still gonna play 1,000%. But yeah, conversations on whether certain players are gonna be staying. I'm gonna be saving that until we're gonna be crossing that bridge because I don't want to think about it yet. Call me. You could tell me that I'm avoiding the problem, right? But it's how I'm cope. It's how I want to cope. God damn it! Like, who are you to say how I'm supposed to be coping with this whole issue? This is how I'm gonna cope, and that's how it is, right? I'm gonna deny it until he just waves to the cop for one last time. So,
And then you're just gonna turn off the lights and ugly cry. Follow
right.
Club to Charlotte FC, would they? I mean, and that's a good point,
Well,
right? It's not
yeah.
the only reason. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
reason, maybe compared to like other big clubs and other clubs that's in the Champions League and stuff like that. But it was not. And this is a good point. What do you think about this, Gordo? Like, to piggyback up Dom's comment, players want to cement their legacy to show they did it without him too. For players, says Mateusz, and I do agree to a certain extent because let's face it, and even most fans act like everything is done by club. This includes the club, like FSG,
Mhm.
includes the players. The credit usually goes to him, and I think it takes a certain manager. You get to a certain point where you get all the credits and not any of the blame. It takes a while to get to that stage, but then like we look for players to blame. Like most fans will look for players to blame. They will not say, why is Fabinho and Henderson playing center back, for God's sakes? This makes no sense. We kept saying it and got yelled at for it because Klopp was made. In Klopp we trust and stuff. I mean, he's still human. We can criticize him, but I think you get to a certain point. You think the players feel like this is our chance to show that we had a lot in this as well?
Mm, I don't know. I get that statement because there are some players that yes, the legacy means a lot to them, but I think it's few and far between. I think most of these guys know that like I could go to Real Madrid, I can go to Barcelona. I'll do this, I'll do that. Like I don't think um, the loyalty to one club really exists in many players anymore. So I could see that a few of them doing it. And back to the statement that I made about like they came for Klopp means they're going to leave because Klopp's not there. I just meant that like this time period means a lot to them because here's their chance to like give everything for him to be like thank you. I don't think that many of them are actually going to walk away from Liverpool because what ends up happening is like come for Klopp, stay for the city, stay for the fans.
Yeah.
So like they came here because of Klopp, but most of them are going to stay because Liverpool is a great team to play for. None of them, you talk to many of them after they leave, talk to a handful of players that used to play for Liverpool in the 2000s when it wasn't very good. And they'll tell you they love the city. They always feel at home. They like some of them still have a house there. So
Mhm.
I don't think there's going to be a mass exodus of players. But in terms of like cementing a legacy to kind of say like, oh, I was part of it too. I don't think that's on many people's minds. I think that a lot of the club loyalty doesn't really exist. But I mean, Klopp is one of the very few managers I feel that always gives credit where credit is due. And to be a good manager, and not just in football, but anywhere, if you're managing people, you know that you're not the best at things. And so you put the best people
Yeah.
in place and you admit it time after time in front of your other employees that, hey, that's not me. I'm terrible at this. This is why I brought him in or her in to do this job. And when Klopp signed his extension, he demanded, he took a little bit of a pay cut and gave it to the people underneath him and then had all those people also sign their extensions and had them in the photograph of him signing the bill to be like, hey, we're doing this as a team.
It's like
This
a
isn't just
team
me.
thing, kind of an ordeal. I mean, to credit, I mean, it's not like Klopp has gone out and tried to take the credit, but that's kind of like how fans work, right? Like the credit goes automatically to Klopp by most fans now at this stage, regardless of what it is. and the blame rarely does. And like I say, once you get to a certain stage, unfortunately, that's how things roll, whether you like it or not. Oscar on Instagram is asking, and this is like where football flashbacks betting comes in. By the way, we are on Instagram Live now as well, and you can also follow us on Facebook and YouTube, and now Instagram Live. Oscar says, "Is anyone excited about Thiago? Just wait till Friday because Anand will be very excited about Thiago.
You're tuning into the wrong show, my friend. Tune into the Friday
I
show.
think he's going to be ready for the Arsenal game."
Thiago?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
Oscar, not happening, man. I mean, I do, but I mean, okay, let's do this. That's why. I mean, I don't think you see Thiago for another 2-3 weeks at the minimum going into a game. But for the sake of football flashbacks betting over here, when do we see Thiago hit the pitch first?
April.
Mm.
So I'll give you guys some. I mean, okay, do you
He'll
guys
be
want me
standing for the guard of honor at the end of
Right, he'll be standing for the goal.
Klopp's last game against Wolves.
Right.
That's the first time he'll touch the field for Liverpool.
somebody pushing him with a wheelchair through the guard of honor? But no, seriously. So do you guys think anytime in February?
No,
When
zero
is
chance.
when's
I
the
put him on the FA Cup 5th round game,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to ask. When
February 28th.
that's probably when we'll see him. That's when I would play him. I don't want him out there for Arsenal.
Well, I wouldn't want him, yeah, and I don't think he would be ready to go against Arsenal anyway. But Ryan says we never see Thiago. Seriously.
He's not even in the documentary. They just put a sticker over his face.
Or maybe they pan to him for like a split second, then immediately go like.
Thursday says preseason for no, I think we see him. Oscar's not going to be happy. Oh, speaking of, now Anand is on air, so okay, now we're screwed. Anyway, Thiago is the greatest player ever, as we were saying. No, I think we do not see him until February 28th going against in the FA Cup. So it's going to be Watford or Southampton. I think I would be like, see, there you go. He's just like the Batman signal. He just shows up right there. But John, give us a date. When do we see Thiago in all his glory? Oh, okay. When do we see Thiago? Let me rephrase that.
Yeah. No, I was like, all his glory. You're giving him too much credit. If we advance in the FA Cup, probably the next round.
Not even this round. Next round.
Huh. Well, you know what? Maybe I'm giving him too much stick here. Yeah, you know what? Maybe the 5th round might be a reasonable kind of deal. I could see him maybe starting games around March. Starting games for like less risky games, maybe around March. He'll probably come off the bench. You guys are probably spot on. 5th round FA Cup, especially.
Yeah, I don't even think like he's because we have the final, the FA Cup final, right before on the 25th. So you got to figure everybody's going to be in on that thing. So I do think. So Anand says he just got off the phone with him. We'll be on the bench in 2 weeks, which kind of goes with my calculation. So he will not go in probably till 4 weeks.
Well, technically, he is on the bench watching from the inactive list, right? So,
well, they don't want him there so that the player doesn't run into him and put him out for another 4 months. Or something. Like, they put him like 6 rows behind just in case there's no issue by the sideline. And two says by March. Yeah, and I think, here's the thing. It's not like, you're putting like an 18-year-old kid out there. The dude has experience. Yeah. If he feels he's ready, it's one of those guys that if he thinks and he feels his body is ready, you're going to probably put him out there. But you're going to put him out there in the last 20 minutes or something like that anyway. So it could be either a comfortable game you probably put him in where you have the lead and stuff like that. So instead of trotting out McConnell out there, you trot out his grandfather in Thiago. I mean, that's basically what's going to end up happening. So, but yeah, so Oscar is probably like, man, I'm never asking a question again. But yeah, I mean, I think it's good to have him back for day. So Ryan says, so never. We'll never see him. No, we will. That should be the bet right here. I do say we do see him in a Liverpool kit before the end of the season playing on the pitch. We should probably put that in there. Yes or no?
what's the over under here? Over
There's
3
no over
appearances.
under. The over is Thiago, under is under is still it's a fact.
Okay.
I love it. I love it. A simple man. Like, is he appearing or not? I love
Yeah.
it. I love the simplicity of this bet. Yeah. We're seeing him. We're seeing him.
Yeah, for sure.
And we're probably not going to see him
You
because
guys
I
are
think
overconfident, but what was the last time Thiago played?
West Ham, right? He came off the bench when we beat them towards the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't even freaking
This is why you said we should probably have like a producer on the side fact checking all our shit. Because
Speaking of ugly cry, Anand says over is his Liverpool career, under is me crying under my bed if he doesn't play. The ugly cry of okay, let's see. I do think like he will show up, but I don't think it's gonna be a key part. But you never know, man. You might show up in a game and give that key pass and stuff like that too. What a great documentary story that will be in the back. Maybe we should just have him like, him and Adrian like do the documentary, just walk around with the cameras. Like, you guys are not doing anything. Why don't you guys just go around with the camera crew?
If that happens, it's got to be David Attenborough, right? Oh, look, a wild Thiago has appeared. This is very rare.
Thiago,
please
ball.
Don't make any loud noises. He'll run away. The most
Thiago shooting and Adrian saving that shot would be like, shh. Just hide behind the cones on the pitch. Oh man, I can't wait till Friday now. Too bad. Yeah, Anand says the cameras will be too heavy for his hip. That's true. That's true. Poor Thiago. I mean, like I say, I've been saying it. All joke aside, I would like to see him back, coming to games and kind of like help control the game. If we're winning it, help control the pace, and then like keep the ball and everything like that. If we're not winning, Chasen maybe come in and help us break down the defense and stuff. So
if he's fit enough to make the bench for the cup final, would you play him?
Not
like,
as
imagine that's his first experience.
No.
Yeah, no.
If he plays,
even if we're like up 2-0, we need to control. No.
Oh
like
yeah, that's
he's
why
best
I would
at.
put him in. Yeah, I mean the last 20 minutes. I thought you meant like starting.
Oh no, not starting. Like if we need him for a situational, kind of like we're either we need to control the game or we need more rotation of the ball, kind of deal where we're chasing the game.
Man, that's like if it's his first game, it's kind of like risky to put somebody who's not used to game speed.
Yeah, if he plays from now until then, then yeah.
Yeah, if he shows up even for 5-10 minutes here and there, yeah. But otherwise, like the game pace. Otherwise, in terms of nerve, I mean, the guy has been there, done that, so he's not gonna have nerves because he has like an EFL Cup final against Chelsea. But it's a matter of like. Yeah, I mean, he has not had anything to do with the team. That's the thing. Like, he has not played game speed. If he shows up 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there until then. But do you want to – I mean, I don't see them reserving a spot for him on the bench in the game squad if he's only going to make an appearance, like, for 5 to 10 minutes until we're playing some maybe, like, easier games. Ryan says he has no value to me.
Damn, Ryan.
Damn is right. Hopefully Anand took off or Anand is ugly crying when he reads that probably. Okay, it is match day. Obviously, we're going to be here for the pre-match once the lineups come out. But what are you guys predicting? I did ask pretty much everybody on Monday. I'll ask you guys as well. I asked Matush in the morning and the boys at night. Gordo, 4 points out of the next 6. Are you taking and running with it?
Yes, taking and running.
Yeah, 4 out of the next 6, definitely.
4 out of the 6, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So a win today, a draw Sunday. You guys are happy.
I'm thinking it's just based on history. It'll be a draw today and a win at Arsenal.
Yeah, so Football Flashbacks is a 2-2 draw. What do you guys expect to see? I mean, hey, Chelsea is not the best, obviously, form-wise, but they have players. They just can't play together. So they have players who can hurt you and do things. It's just a matter of, holy cow, Football Flashback even has the goals. Darwin, Curtis, Palmer, and Silva with the goals.
Oh, he means 2-2 for today. I thought he meant 2-2. Yeah. Oh, okay. Jeez, my bad. I wasn't paying attention.
Taking the Timuchin special.
Can we start with Gordo?
Yeah. To see game-wise, score-wise, like gameplay-wise and score-wise, what do you expect to see?
I just the last 9 meetings, his draws. I can't get over. In my mind, I just can't get over that for whatever reason. It's not even that we play down to it. It's almost as if Chelsea plays up to us. I'd probably go 1-1. I want, obviously I want to win out, but there's just 9 meetings and they've all ended in draws. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Football Flashbacks is talking about Chelsea's recent form. I don't know. I don't look at that and be like, holy cow, they're in a rollover here. I mean, since the beginning of the year, let's say, they beaten Preston 4-0. They lost to Middlesbrough 1-0. They beat Fulham 1-0. They hammered Middlesbrough 6-1, and then they tied Villa 0-0. I mean, he's talking about their Premier League form, but the teams, I mean, they lost to Everton 2-0. They beat Sheffield United 2-0. They beat Crystal Palace 2-1. They beat Luton Town 3-2 away. So it's not like, they have been that good. John, give us Dom demands a lineup as well, so hook him up.
Trent starts.
Okay, I think so too.
Yeah. Kanate, Verge, Gomez keeps his place, left back.
Okay.
McAllister is the 6. Harvey, Curtis. Front 3 is always going to be the interesting one. Jota has to start, absolutely. Jota, Darwin. Actually, no. Lucho, Jota, Gakpo. Darwin comes off the bench to wreak havoc, I would say.
Gordo.
See, this is weird for me, John, because I feel like we're switching roles here. But Gakpo, his last game was not. I did not enjoy it at all. I don't feel like he brought the same calmness. I felt like he was kind of all over the place. But again, he came off the bench, didn't he, against Norwich?
I can't remember. I was still
against Norwich.
I was still in Klopp denial. I can't remember.
This is why you need an assistant.
Yeah.
Well, ask questions. There's nobody to give answers. Hold on.
The point of the only thing that kept me interested in the last couple minutes of that Norwich game was like it felt like a cameo appearance for everybody. Like, oh, Trent, oh, there you are, Robertson, hey.
No, Gakpo started and played the full 90. Looks like.
Was it the game before? No, then it was an entire 90 minutes where I couldn't remember. So that's not.
And I think just the fact that he did play 90 minutes, maybe it does say that he's not starting this one.
But Darwin played 90 and Jota did too. Wait, no, Darwin didn't play 90, but Jota did. So is Jota coming off?
No, they both came out according to this.
Oh, Jota came out as well. Oh,
Jota came out, Nunez came out, Jones came out, McConnell came out. Never mind. Scratch that. Nunez came out. Jota played the full 90.
Oh, so maybe it's Jota who's probably not. Well, I want Jota starting at all times.
Same.
Yeah.
I think I would start Darwin. I think it would start Darwin over Gakpo. I just like Chelsea's just all over the place, and I think maybe that early chaos might unhinge.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like as good as Thiago Silva is, you want someone with speed running at him.
Yeah,
Silva is not going to be able to handle. Nunez's craziness.
Yeah, you don't want them to settle into a game, which I feel like Gakpo is very much he would bring calmness to us, but that also comes at a cost.
I kind of like as well. Sorry to cut you off there, Godo, but like I mentioned this to Kazi when we were doing the pre-match a few games ago. Like I like how Gakpo is so versatile that if he comes off the bench, Klopp can kind of diagnose what the problem is. Like, are we lacking something from the left? Are we lacking something from the center or the right or even in midfield? And he can just plug Gakpo anywhere there. So maybe, like, I know a lot of people who like Gakpo, like namely Kazi and some other people will say that he's probably should be starting in our best lineup. But I would say that he's probably best off the bench because his versatility gives you like so many possibilities in terms of diagnosing what the problem is and just putting him there to solve it, because we've seen him that comeback against Fulham. They put him in the midfield and then that's when we came back. Sometimes we put him in the left. That's when he gets going. So it's just such a great, unique problem to have.
A free space.
Exactly.
I know in the past we talked about, we like Nunez off the bench, like to be able to change games. But with Mo not there, Yeah, Gakpo gives you that he can do more. I mean, when you bring Nunez to a game, you know exactly what you're getting and where you can use him. Whereas with Gakpo, I think you're right. You can put him as an extra attacker in midfield. You can put him up top to replace somebody. So I think that Don doesn't think Trent is starting, so he has basically pretty much my lineup. But I do think instead of Bradley, and I think you got to be careful, Bradley too. It's still a kid playing against men for the most part. I don't know if you want to play him game after game after game. I think the fact that Trent came in and played that period signals to me that he's starting this one. But then I don't know if Klopp says, let's start with Bradley, see how it goes. I bring Trent if I need him, and then save him for the Arsenal game.
Yeah, I mean, I think either way, I feel like it works out. The thing is, we're playing at home, so there's like always an edge when we play at home, and that's gonna help whether it's Bradley or Trent starting. Let me actually kind of piggyback off of that. Obviously, Robertson's back, right? And I don't know if I'm alone in this, but I feel like he has to.
I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has to win his place back from Gomez. I feel like Gomez has nailed down that left side because, like, sure we lack the offensive side of that game, that side rather, but he's just been too good for. And it would be really harsh on him to go like if Robertson's 100% match fit, 100% match sharpness, to just put him in there in place of someone who's been literally helping hold down the fort the last 2-3 months, right? Because obviously you wouldn't put Gomez at right back because Trent's back, left back.
See, that's why you threw me off. I thought you were going, why don't we put Gomez at right back?
Oh no! It's
I
not
was
yet.
like ready to just bat that away, but okay.
Yeah. It's not a reckless Friday yet, Tim. I'm saving that for Friday. This is mellow midweek with yourself, Gordo, and me. So.
I don't know. I don't know what you think, Gordo. I feel like you put the natural guy in there. As great as Gomez has done, he still has to take it to his right to do a lot of things. So
this is for all the viewers as well.
Enjoys playing left back, like Milner used to do it, but hated. So I'm assuming Gomez would prefer. If anything, I think you put Gomez back into the center back rotation, but not this game. But I think you take advantage of the natural left-footed guy who can do the overlap and not have to cut it to be able to cross it. What do you think, Gordo?
Well, like similar to Bradley, I know Gomez isn't a young guy, but both of them have literally been playing lights out day in and day out for this team. And so maybe just giving him the break and then putting him in for Arsenal, to be like, yeah, I'm going to give you the rest midweek and you can take Arsenal. And I think that says more for his confidence too. Because I agree with you. I think like if I'm looking at loyalties or like people that earned a position, I'd put him in the starting lineup until Robertson comes on for a cameo and like just that's what we've been missing.
Yeah, he's back.
Right. But these guys are, we need to really focus on rotation, and that's one thing Klopp has never done, but he's done really well this year. And I'd love to see that continue. And just like if you sit Robertson too long, does he lose something? Like have Gomez on the bench, and if it doesn't go well with Robertson, then you can turn to Gomez and be like, all right,
Oh, you're starting Robertson.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
okay.
that's what I thought we were talking about. Is like who gets the spot, who gets. That
spot. Okay. I see. Okay, so you basically benching Gomez, saving him for the weekend, saying you're the.
I think if I was a player, I'd look at this Chelsea and look at where they're at the table, and then I'd look at the weekend and be like, that's the game I want to be involved in.
Yeah, that's true. And then, Sergi makes a good point because Gomez did play Saka very well like that first game and really like kind of like shut down that wing because he has the pace to kind of like match it, I think, as well. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. I just don't know if those guys are – I mean, that's the question, right? Is Trent and Robo ready for 90 minutes if need be?
I mean, Trent's injury was less long-term, so he's probably going to get caught up much quicker. Right.
Well, and Robertson was only his shoulder, so you can still.
It's not a muscle injury, so it's not like it's likely for him to re-hurt it, whereas Trent is. This is a dilemma of coming up with the 11, and maybe Dom is right. We do go with Bradley. I just worry that we're going to run Bradley into the ground now and kind of like wear him out. But he has played great, so maybe you do say, "Hey, man, you got to go and keep going," and you have Trent in your back pockets if need be. So
I did not have Gomez carrying the load in my 2023-24 season bingo card. Remember, Tim, when we were talking in the preseason, I was like, you were like, what about Gomez? And I was like, who? And then here he is. It's just
talked a
a
lot
1-8.
of smack, that's for sure.
Yeah. Mm.
Poor old Joey G. And he's guess his goal against Arsenal is my guess, but we'll see.
Man.
Okay, so final score
Whoa.
predictions. I am going with the Timuchin special 3-1.
Can we do Gordo first? Can we do Gordo first? I'm nervous.
I'm still saying 1-1 or 2-2.
Damn, man. Okay.
But I will say this: if Gomez scores the winning goal against Arsenal, put your money down on them winning the quad. That's just like,
if I'm football flashback,
it's just everything's coming together, right? Like everything. Klopp's announcing he's leaving. Gomez gets a crucial goal. It's just like, yes, give me more of that. Inject that straight into my veins.
Okay, you can't escape it anymore. Score prediction.
3-0. Liverpool.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
He said like I'm nervous, and he comes up with a 3-0 afterwards. Like what the hell? Okay,
I didn't know which persona. I didn't know which persona to put on, like pragmatic John or reckless John. You know.
Hey, it could be 0-0 in the 75th minute, and this team can score 3. So like it could be a very nervous game, but we end up winning. Like that Bournemouth game, I still say like it looks fantastic on paper, but like I was never comfortable until like we got the third one.
Yes, I never am because I worry as a lifestyle. But yeah, it's going to be a stressful game. I'm hoping an early goal to like really open things up. I did not see this today, so Salah is like the African Cup is over. Okay, well I'm good. I can start playing now. I did not know he was training, and that's definitely a good sign if he is, because we'd like to have him back for the final. Obviously, he's not going to be back for this weekend, but I would like to have him back for the final because then you played. After this weekend, we play Burnley at home, and we're going to like one game a week for a little bit there. We play Burnley at home, then we play Brentford away, and then obviously the cup final comes a week after that. So I would hope to have him for the cup final, maybe make a late appearance against Brentford. But so we will see all these lineup predictions pan out in a few hours over here. We'll be on. John, will you be joining us as well? Same crew? And I think we have a couple of others coming up as well. Maybe
my phone held out, so I'm probably gonna join. I was worried that I'm just gonna disappear mid-broadcast, so my phone like held out, so I'll probably join you.
Like poor Trevor, where his phone goes to like 600 degrees within like 3 minutes, and he has to like sign up after post matches. But we will be back once the lineups come out for the pre-match. We will see you guys then. Enjoy the rest of your day until then. Because then once that starts, stress starts, and we'll go that way. But let's hope for a good, easy 3-0 John predicted win over here. We'll see you guys at the pre-match. Take care.